Up next, okay, I think we have let your mouths water for long enough. We are finally going to head over to the kitchen. You're going to want to eat all the time. Get those ribs going, because when we come back, we are in the kitchen. We're going to make some great, delectable ribs. All right, I've been waiting for this the whole show. It is time to talk ribs. Chef Paul Corsentino is the executive chef of the National Restaurant here in New York City, and he's got a recipe that you are not going to be able to resist. We are making a, if I got this right, tell me, a Frangelico BBQ sauce for ribs.
That is absolutely correct. Yep.
Fantastic. What kind of liqueur is Frangelico?
It's Italian hazelnut liqueur.
Oh.
So we're bringing out kind of the late summer, fall ingredients for these ribs.
All right, fantastic. Let's get started. Show me what we're doing.
So the first thing we do is we have about a cup of bacon, which we've already started rendering off. And then as soon as that starts to render, we throw in about a cup of carrots, celery, and onion.
When you say render it off, you're just sort of cooking it down a little bit?
Cooking some of the fat away, cooking the bacon off a little bit.
And then we're using the grease of the bacon sort of as our
exactly.
in the pan.
You got it.
Like it. I like it.
Makes everything better, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so then we get into our more fall ingredients, and then we add a little bit of apple and ginger.
Apple, nice.
And the ginger adds a little bit of a spice to it. Throw in a little bit of garlic. Cook that off a little bit.
So you're not going to dice the garlic. You're just throwing a whole
Just throw the whole thing in there. Just throw it in there.
All right, good.
It has enough pungency that it'll do its thing.
Terrific.
And then throw a little bit of cinnamon. Again, little late summer fall ingredients.
Whole stick, 2 whole sticks.
Yeah, why not? Again, a little spice. This barbecue sauce is a little bit on the sweet side, so we like to add a little bit of spice to counteract that.
Sure, you don't want it to get too sort of sugary, sweety in there.
So then we add a hazelnut liqueur. We're going to throw a good amount in there.
Very scientific measuring process I see that you're involved in.
Yes, we call it a quarter to a half bottle, depending on your preference.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to let that continue to cook. And then our next ingredients, again, towards the fall, we have some apple cider vinegar, and some orange juice that we're going to throw in there. About a cup of each, okay?
And this is apple cider vinegar.
And apple cider.
And apple cider.
And orange juice.
And orange juice. Okay, so that's all together.
But it's very simple.
Yep.
Okay, and then again, we have 2 cups of tomato juice, 2 cups of pineapple juice, and a tablespoon of molasses.
Why the pineapple juice?
A little bit of sweetness. You know, I'm a chef that likes to have a little bit of a sweet tooth, so I like things a little bit sweeter.
I mean, I love the idea, but I just wasn't thinking, may I?
Yes, of course. Now you have the chicken stock and soy sauce.
Okay.
About a cup of chicken stock and about a tablespoon of soy sauce.
Okay.
And so what happens now, we just let that cook down, and then it's going to eventually get down to a sauce consistency, or your barbecue sauce consistency, which is what we have here. We're basically going to turn this up, and this is going to eventually start to simmer and boil. And it's going to cook down, it's going to cook like 3/4 of the way down.
Oh, so it's literally going to sort of congeal down into this sauce.
Actually, the natural sugars and the pectin from the apple will cook down, and this, with the hazelnut liqueur, and it'll be nice and thick and delicious.
And once we have this sauce, are we done with the sauce? Does it need to sit and simmer for a while?
No, it's once we get it down, we just strain it out, and that's it. And then you have a nice barbecue sauce. And then the next step would be just to start to glaze your ribs.
Actually, we have to take a break before we get to that, but we are going to do it. Don't worry, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to glaze these ribs and show you how to make them absolutely perfect right after this.
There's still more of Better to come.
All right, we are back with Chef Paul Corsentino. Before the break, he showed us how to make a delicious sauce, but now we're going to get to the meat of the issue here. You're going to glaze these ribs for us. What kind of ribs are these?
These are St. Louis spare ribs. Now, before we even got to this, before all of this took place, we had some raw St. Louis spare ribs, and what we did is we created a brine for them, and we put this in a brine solution for about 24 hours, maybe a touch longer, depending on your likeness. But what the brine consists of, it's a gallon of water, about a cup of salt, about a cup of sugar, and about a cup of soy sauce. And we heat that up to dissolve all the ingredients, and then cool it back down, because you don't want to put the ribs into a hot solution.
Into a hot thing, or they'll start to cook.
Exactly.
Right.
So once it cools down, we'll put the ribs in there. We'll let them soak overnight for about 24 hours. And what that does is it keeps the ribs moist, and it also seasons the ribs internally and on the outside as well.
All right, so we've left them in a brine overnight, and then we take them out, and how are we cooking them? Are we doing them on the grill? Are we doing them on the stovetop?
For the home cook, the best way to do it, the easiest way to do it is to braise them, and you can put them in chicken stock, or even water for that matter, and some carrots, celery, onions, and we cook them for about 3 to 4 hours at about 325 degrees covered. Okay. And then once those are done, finish them off on the grill, and that gives it the nice smoky flavor.
Right. At what point in the process then are we going to get our yummy barbecue sauce?
Once they're grilled, we go ahead and we just start to glaze them with our barbecue sauce.
Let me get this one out of the way.
And that's it. And then once they're nice and glazed, we cook them off nicely. Just give them a nice little glaze, and that's it. And then they're ready to serve. Nice and delicious.
So it is just that simple. And how did you top them? You finished them off over here, sort of our presentation plate. What's on this?
Yeah, well, what it is we have some toasted hazelnuts and some scallion. And I always like to squeeze a little bit of lime juice over it as well. And that gives it a little bit of acid, a little bit of tone. That's what we do with the National.
And it helps the flavor pop out.
Exactly.
Why hazelnut?
Hazelnut, it gives it a nice, rich depth of flavor to cut some of that sweetness that's already going on in the barbecue sauce. And, of course, adds a little bit of texture as well.
It does. This, you were saying, has got sort of the fall, as we come into the fall flavors. Is that the apple and the cinnamon?
The ginger, the apple, the cinnamon, and the Frangelico, for that matter, because the hazelnuts tends to be a fall flavor that actually will be featuring at the National Hazelnut Month.
Oh, I didn't even know there was such a thing. That's
there
fantastic.
Is.
Can I try these?
Go for it,
these
please.
Good? All right, this is the real test here. The ribs.
The real deal.
Okay. Yeah, that is very good. And I don't care if it's still August. I love it. It doesn't have to be fall yet. We're going to put this recipe, by the way, up on our website, bettertv.com. And if you are in the New York City area, make sure you stop by and see this gentleman at the National. We will be right back. Wow. That is good.